Rassie, maybe just take us through the decision to pick such a strong team that looks almost full strength, barring injuries.
Yeah, afternoon everybody. It's the first test. Last week was a Barbarian match, and we would like to set the tone. Obviously, Italy is some guys a bit of an unknown to us, and obviously we could analyse them from Six Nations and what they did last year. But there's a few guys we don't know, so we're not 100% sure what they'll dish up. But to have a steady hands and a steady start and hopefully a good start. And we gave some other guys a chance last week, and hopefully next week we can also, and against Georgia as well. So more just to steady the boat with the first test match.
Rassie, just a word on Sear. How's his injury at the moment? When you expect it?
Yeah, he just did a stiff neck. It was nothing serious. That's all cleared up now. But he has a bit of a Achilles, not a strain at all. He's just really stiff there, So we just want to make sure. Overall, most of the players, I don't think there's a player that will play more than eight or nine matches for us this year. So, rather make sure that Achilles is 100% ready. But it's nothing serious. The scan, everything shows clear. So we just careful with him.
Rassie, just confirm Jesse is still the captain.
Yep, Jesse and Eben vice captain.
Yeah, just the decision to keep or to give the job to Jesse or stay with Jesse. Keeping in mind that you have Eben as in the start.
No, for sure. I think the more we can give, we don't want to give hand out captaincies like it's something that people don't deserve. I think Jesse is somebody that thoroughly deserves that, and the more we get guys like that, understanding what a captain needs when he's not captain, the better it is. We know what we always get out of Eben. Eben probably won't go 80. We hope that Jesse can go 80. Not that Eben won't make a 80, but we know we'll probably make a sub there somewhere between him and Lood. So we'd like to have the captain on the field. Sia, we know he understands the bomb squad and all of those kind of things. So some nice continuity with Jesse. He's always been a leader, and he did really well for us last week in that reign, controlling the game with all the other senior players in the team. So yeah, it's a nice opportunity for him to be in a test, a captain, and not a Bavarian game.
Rassie, even before you were coach, Eben and Lood were the first, the number one rock combination. Just to see Lood back with Eben, you must be pleased about that whole road that Lood has travelled.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. First of all, we all thought it was really serious when he pulled out of the preparations or the final squad for the 2023 World Cup, and we thought it's quite serious. And you see him back, both shoulders. He had so many shoulder problems, but he looks all healthy. He's really in the best shape. I think he's in better shape than in 2019. So, and I think also the guys do rest a bit. When the bodies rest for 2 years or something like that, you don't have another 50 or 30, 40 games that your body has endured, if that is the right word. So, the age might be 32, 33, but I think the body might be 30, 29. So yeah, the whole team is glad to have him back. He's a very sharp guy. He's a guy that studies the game a lot, and he certainly brings calmness. But then we'll have to give other guys also opportunity, like Salman must come into the mix. Frank will certainly deserves a start somewhere. There's a couple of blocks there, but it's nice to have him.
Good morning, Coach. What are you expecting from Italy on Saturday? And maybe what you are hoping Italy will bring to the field?
We've been there when Italy beat us, and I can remember the World Cup pool game. We actually organized that game to be probably our most vital pool game in 2019. You know how big that game was. I think they reserved a red card in that game, which maybe swung the momentum a hell of a lot in our way. But that game was really nervy for us, and a lot of the players who's here can remember that. And then since Casado has taken over, the new coach, he certainly has brought a lot of simplicity to their game. Where they will always, I don't know if that's the right word, they were always a very flamboyant team that ran from everywhere. And I think last year was one of the best years, the year before last year. Yeah, last year was one of the best years that they had. They had quite a good year, and I think the first two games in Six Nations, they really manned up. I think because they only have two clubs to pick from, they sometimes run out of players. They only have two clubs really in URC that they can pick from. but the way they played in those first 2 games, we're expecting passionate, like you always are, physicality to a point that we must handle that, and a really structured, good kicking. I wouldn't say conservative, but it's not the Italy of 2-3 years ago. It's a really well-structured team, I believe.
Thank you.
Rassie, are you just able to take us through, outside of CS initially, are you able to take us through the other immediate injury concerns in the team?
Yeah, I don't have the list here, but I'll go through my head. I actually just spoke to Tux and Tulu just on the phone before I came, and we thought there was going to be a 6-7 week injury, but it's looking good for him. Obviously, we got Boan in for cover there. Then, Frans Malherbe is definitely out for the season. Jean Klein 6 weeks, knee definitely 6 weeks. The way Munster will obviously give more clarity on that. It's their player, but he's got a knee injury which we think it will be at least 6 weeks. Sia next week back, I think. Jean-Luc is just, I said it once for other player earlier this year, and I got it wrong, but his wife is giving birth this weekend, so that's why Jean-Luc is going back. Then Grant Williams next week. Fly-offs all good. Centers, nobody injured. Mapimpi next week ready with his hamstring. Yeah, I think I've covered everybody. Is there somebody I missed? Peter Steff next week. Lucanio will only be in the rugby championship. The rugby championship.
You sort of answered the question with Peter Steff not available for this week, but obviously Vincent did really well last week, and you've given him the opportunity at number 7.
Yeah.
Was there, I suppose you could have gone to Franco Moss or someone like that. Was that a reward for last week's performance?
Yes, and last week was a barbarian match. It's not a lot of guys that's getting capped this weekend, but there's certainly Krappies hasn't got a lot. The only other test match, I'll get to Vincent now, the other test match Krappies has played was in the rain, and then it was against Australia, I think, and this one was again in the rain, and I thought Krappies did really well, and so did Vincent. I thought Asenati was really solid, and Marnus I thought was really solid. This specific game, we don't have Peter Steff available, we just lost John Klein, so Franco must probably focus more on lock tries. Obviously have Erke also on the bench, but Vincent was certainly all of it busy last week. I mean, if you take the 2 tries away, and you don't measure that as a man of match performance or player of the match performance, but you go and look at his work rate. It was exceptional for a blind side. It was almost in the, I wouldn't say it was in the physicality of Peter Steff. I think he must still up the physicality to test match level, but his work rate is phenomenal, and the more test matches he played, I think the better he'll be.
Guys, 2 more minutes before we switch off vloggers, so any questions for Gaza? Ross and Ami?
Gaza, obviously you've been out for a year from the Springbok team, struggled with injuries and all that. You even had a few for the Storms this season. How are you feeling, and thrilled to be back in the mix?
Yeah, I'm very happy to obviously be healthy and to be back in the Springbok squad and team. As I said, it's been a difficult year, 2 years with injury, and then obviously with the suspension, it's keeping me out playing rugby. But very happy to get another shot, and for the coaches to believe in me and to get my opportunity again to play. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous, obviously. I haven't played, and the last game I played was in the Rugby World Cup final. So I'll have to obviously get in and hopefully just do my primary job, and hopefully the rest of the boys, I know they will take care of me and look after me. So
Sorry, my question is for Rassie. Just the selection of Handre at 10, what was the thinking behind that? Level kicked very well, Sasha was always a really exciting player.
Handre has done so many times for us the job, and Sasha, he was playing at home and it was a barbarian match, but Handre is 31. Johnny Sexton was 38 when he played his last World Cup, so Handre's got a lot of legs still in him, and I really think he can go to the next World Cup. Morne is there, so we'd like to rotate those 3 as much as we can, and Gaza's covering 10 for us on Saturday with the 6-2 split. So I think you'll see, hopefully, if we keep momentum. It's tough to change things if you don't keep momentum, but hopefully between those 3, we'll rotate it. There will be certain stages where we would like to keep continuity. And just maybe to add on to that, playing these 3 matches now, after that there's a month before you go into Rugby Championship. So game time, caps and settling in, yeah, that's nice. But match fitness won't be a factor. You've got a month break between the Georgia game and the Rugby Championship, So I guess this is feeling out a few guys, getting some guys back into the mix, get some guys from injury back or suspension back, guys who was really ill like Lood back, and then some new caps into the mix. So I think between the 3 of them, yeah, the next 3 games will rotate quite often.
Before videos go, any last question for Gaza?
Damian, if my memory serves me correctly, you won the game for the Boks with a kick against Wales at Loftus not that long ago. Does that give you some, you say you're a little bit nervous, but maybe that memory is a good one for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a good memory. Yeah, it was a scary day for us there at Loftus, but we did really well in the second half to come back. But yeah, I guess, as I said, a lot of guys in the team, the coaching staff, and the months of preparation that we had also gives me a lot of security, I think. And yeah, I think as soon as I probably get out into the field and touch the ball, the first touch, and probably sing the national anthem, I'll probably get into it and forget about the nerves and settle a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you are playing for the Springboks and for the national team, so it does come with a little bit of added pressure. But yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to as well. And as I said, I've got great outside backs and experienced guys in the team that will look after me.
Thank you guys. Videos off. And then any further questions?